A kingdom man should be the heroes of the house. The first to say, ain't no evil in my house. See, as for me and mine, we gon' serve the Lord. That's right. Hey, as for me and mine, we trust in His word. Faithful to our wives, and grateful for our lives.
Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of the Underground Railroad with Samuel and Abraham. And today we have a really good friend with us, Damien, and he's going to sit in and talk with us about what it was like with him having a father in the home. He didn't just have one; he had two, with a stepfather and a real father, and he's had a lot of different experiences growing up. And so, Damien, we're just really happy to have you here today, and we're kind of blessed to have you. And Damien's a really good friend of ours, and we've known him for many, many, many years. So, Damien, we have our first question for you. It's, how has your relationship with your father grown stronger or weaker over time?
What's going on? What's going on, man? It's a joy to be a part of this show. And yeah, I just like to say, man, to your question, yeah, definitely, most definitely, my relationship with my father has grown a lot stronger over the years. Um, and to give you an example, my father, he was now moved out of state in Colorado, and so visits have been very scarce here lately, especially since they opened up these visiting rooms due to, you know, saying the closing of COVID and everything. And I haven't seen my pops too much in the last couple of years. And so even with that in play, I'm still can call my pops on the phone anytime that I want, and it's like man, ain't nothing ever changed. You know what I'm saying? Other than the distance. That's how strong our relationship has. It is, I should say, and grown over the years of these last 19, 20 years.
Okay. Before we go any further, man, once again, welcome to the show, bro. It's an honor to have you on here.
Oh, man.
I come to know you as a man with great wisdom and insight and a lot of good knowledge for real. Uh, you know, this world lacks genuine people, and I know you are one of the most genuine brothers I've ever met. So once again, grateful to have you on
Appreciate
here.
it.
So, but I want you to be able to tell the people who you are before we even begin with another question, because people need to know who you are. You know what I'm
Who I am.
saying? Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, man, I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a kingdom man. I'm a father of a beautiful 23-year-old daughter. Uh, I'm now married, happily married to a beautiful woman. Uh, you know, I got two grandchildren now. Um, and you know, I've been really, man, walking a new line, man, for the last 20 years through this bit of incarceration, man, and very I'm very thankful, man, for the person that I've become over these years, and like you said, just learning more about myself, you know, particularly through the eyes of other people, as I continue to stand firm on my new morals and my beliefs.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad. I didn't know you got married. So congratulations, man. You know.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. You know.
Yeah. Another kingdom man tied up. That's a good thing, Jim. Because
Right.
a good woman need a kingdom man. You know we fall in between. You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sam.
Keep
Go
it
ahead with
sharp.
the question,
Keep it
bro.
sharp.
She keep it
Yeah,
short.
Just keep it sharp, man.
well, I might be ruling that because after listening to that, like, I have to ask the question, like, what causes relationship change between you and God? What was the catalyst? Like, what happened in your life that prior to coming to know God? Like, give me your little story. Like, where do you come from, and like, how did this change transpire? And I'm not trying to be like long-winded, like, a 25-minute testimony, even though that'd be great. But like, man, what changed? What happened?
Well, I mean, kind of similar to my dad's testimony, you know, because I ain't too far from I'm the apple that ain't too far from the tree, you know what I'm saying? And so, is basically coming from a dysfunctional cycle, you know, and this cycle, man, hit a point where it put me in the position to how I say this, re-examine my opinion about the truth, and I had to make a decision at that point in time. And during this course of wavering with this decision, you know, my dad appeared, my biological father appeared, who was, he's shown up periodically throughout my childhood, here and there. But at the age of 25, man, he showed up in my life, giving me the best gift he could ever give me, which was the Word of God and a direction to him. So from that point on, man, that's what changed the course of my life. Plus his own testimony. Basically, his mission has been to break the cycle that's been, a part of this family for so long, the dysfunctional cycle in this, of this family for so long. So that's kind of my testimony and my reason for change, my turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your father was pivotal in that. So I guess that leads us into the second thing we're gonna ask was like, how does your father's religious views affect your own? But it sounds like your father's religious views radically affected your own. That he came at the right time in the right place, and I guess it just shows you how pivotal a father is at the right time, and that to not be silent on the faith. So, was your father compassionate, or was he cruel growing up? And how do you think it impacted you?
See, that's the thing with the father that we're talking about today, the one who's living in biological. I didn't grow up with him outside of prison. Grew up with him while I was in prison. I'm currently in prison, and that's over the last 20 years. But that relationship, man, has been so tight. It's like I've always had him in my life, but he has been very compassionate, very open, very straightforward, very honest with me, and very strong about his relationship. You know what I'm saying, with Jesus Christ, man. He ain't scared to tell nobody about his Lord, his saving grace.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a great word, man. Especially, like I said, you really didn't. He wasn't around when you was younger.
Nah.
So, like, with him coming into your life at a later age, was you more receptive to get to know him, or was it like any hesitancy whatsoever?
Oh man, absolutely not. At this bottom point in my life, when he did show up, it's pretty much like he showed up at the right point in time. The most important time that I ever needed him in my life, man, he showed up. And it's just been building ever since then. You know what I'm saying? There was no hesitancy whatsoever. I welcome him with open arms. Of course, we went through that period of, there's a lot of guilt there, sharing the guilt and, apologizing for this and that, man. But, it was like bygones is bygones, man. I'm just glad you're here. You know what I'm saying? And,
right.
It's like, man, I got my pops, man.
Yeah.
And all those periods of time of growing up without him, like, it's like a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? I got the man that I've always desired to have in my life. He's finally in my life. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my ace boom coon, man. That's my dude.
Yeah. So
what's the one lesson you learned?
Good. That's what I'm gonna get with. That's what I'm gonna get touch on. The number one lesson, but I want to take a kind of I know he introduced you to the Word of God, and I know that is the most important thing that any father can do for his son at any point in life. That is number one tops, right? So we already know that part, but I want to know something outside of that. What did he introduce to you outside of Christ? Because once again, that's something that's internally grateful. You know what I'm saying? That God's saving grace. So yeah.
To be truthfully, man, I mean, it's on the topic that we're on right now. He introduced me to fatherhood, man. Through him and his growing lessons, while we were establishing our relationship, man, I'm learning how to be a father through him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
He's sharing his real life experiences with my youngest sister, who is like 27 now, as she's staying with him and living with him, and as they're having their ups and downs, their growing pains. You know, he's sharing that with me as I'm dealing with my daughter. You know, trying to be a father from the penitentiary. You know what I'm saying? And he's just giving me step by step of his experience and sharing that with me. And so that is probably one of the greatest gifts he's ever given me while I've been incarcerated.
All right. And so to add on that, because like you said, you kind of father from the penitentiary. And so I would like to have you on again to explore what you got to understand, like being a father from where you are at. How does that work? How is it going? Can a relationship flourish in that manner? When it comes to correction, when all those things, right? So that won't be today, but I hope we can get you back on here, man, and we can kind of explore that topic also.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So you got another question, Sam?
Yeah, man, I do. In what ways are you different from your father?
He likes to tell me that I have more compassion. I'm a lot more compassionate than he does. He is, I should say. My dad he don't hold his tongue. He don't bite his tongue for nobody. He's black and white. He gonna tell you straight what it is. And but me, I'm a little more compassionate. You know, and I'm a little more sensible. At least I like to think I am and everything. But yeah, that's where it describes our differences. I agree with him.
Yeah, even on the basketball court.
Yeah, that's a different subject.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. I know we were lying on this thing. I wasn't really sure how this works. I just checking in real quick. So, growing up, what did you want most from your father that maybe he couldn't give you?
And his love. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I mean, that's what I've always desired. It's just his love, you know, and his time. So, since he's been in my life, man, I know what it's like to, man, I've seen this man. I've seen, you know, the angry side. I've seen him frustrated. I've seen him sad. I've seen him cry. He's from that old school where he don't really believe in, all that physical contact and stuff like that, man. But man, he's hugged me, he's embraced me, man, and he constantly tells me that he loves me. You know what I'm saying? So I love that about him. I really do love that about him, man. As hard as he wants to be, man, he's a very very loving man. It seems like he's it's easier for him to love others today than it is to receive the love, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I could relate with that a lot too. It seems like I can give everybody compliments, all the compliments in the world, but when it comes for me for receiving compliments, man, I still have those, insecurities or whatever, areas, immature areas that I still need to grow in. But,
that really comes from, if you was to ask me, that really comes from not having those affirmations from our fathers. You know what I'm saying? Not really receiving that growing up, and so that's when when you get an affirmation, when you give like you get your flowers or the sense while you're alive, and compliments, and so you don't know how to take it,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah.
And that's the difference, because like Sam mentioned earlier, I got fortunate, man, and blessed to have two different fathers in my life. At two different points, and the one I grew up with, he come from a whole different era, and so we ain't never heard the affirmation or the words "I love you." We didn't get no hugs or nothing of that nature growing up like that. It was hardcore discipline. don't do this, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? But he showed his love in a different form, like through gifts or, you know what I'm saying, that type of, outlook. But, yeah, just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
I guess, man.
Oh, y'all
So my question is, and I know that you have a daughter, and so what is it that you want your daughter to know about you, and maybe something that you want most for her in her life, like just as a man being locked up, like that maybe you couldn't give to her, but you're like you really wish you could give to her. What's that thing that if you could vocalize it, even though you can't physically be there, what is that one thing that you would want her to know, or other little girls, or maybe even boys to know that have a their father's locked up?
Hey, this is how y'all bring me in straight to it, huh? Dang, that's some good questions.
I didn't know if that was too much. My bad. Hey. I was just sitting there squirreling away in my brain. And
nah, man. I mean, last week talking to my daughter, I just called her out the blue. One of the questions I had was like, how can I make up for lost time? I was like, Tiana, man, I don't even think I've asked you that question. How can I ever make up for lost time? I know it's inevitable, but I still asked her anyway. And, I can hear her getting emotional and everything of that nature. And, we go on with the phone conversation, man. And she told me, man, that one thing, man, she could say about me is that I've always been accountable. And I know that's one message that I've always wanted my daughter to know about me, man. Every question that she's ever asked me, I've never lied to her. I've always been upfront with her and truthful, you know what I'm saying? And always reassuring her, man, that I love her. Know that my daughter knows that I love her, man. Man, can't nobody tell me nothing when it comes to being her. You know what I'm saying? And so that means the world to me, man, right there. I can't take back what I've done. Just, you know what I'm saying, allowing the works over time to speak for themselves, and she understands it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the most important thing to me, man, that me and my daughter have an understanding when it comes to my poor decision making and why I'm not there on a consistent basis in her life and everything, man. But she knows that I've tried my hardest, and I still try my hardest to keep that strong, our relationship strong, as best as we can throughout this time, man. And so, tells me, man, she tells me she hears all these stories about me, you know what I'm saying, outside of incarceration. And she told me, man, this last week that she's like, don't take this wrong, Dad, man, but she's like, man, I'm glad that you're locked up because I really understand today that you wouldn't be the person that I know you are today. And she basically said, I wouldn't want to know that man, you know what I'm saying, because it probably would have took you a lot longer to become the man that I know you are today. And who knows where I would be if you wasn't incarcerated, you know what I'm saying? And so that was pretty powerful for me last week to hear that from my daughter.
Yeah. That's a precious moment right there.
Absolutely.
See, Sam kind of jumps the gun, right? Sam kind of jumps the gun because these are some things I want to bring you back on.
You know, he's hyperactive.
Yeah. This is but we're gonna touch base on this again. But for our final question, and so I want to speak to the young man who grew out without his biological father. You know what I'm saying? All these years. And he's been wanting him, he's been seeking him, and then he finally appears in his life. But there's something that's stopping him from letting him in. What would you say to him?
What's stopping it from letting him in?
There's something that's stopping him from letting his father in, right? Can you speak life into that young man?
like, man, gotta let that anger go, man. You know, that's the only thing I can really think of, man. That's a good question. I mean, as far as for me, envisioning myself in that moment, man, I just let it all go. You know, I've really seen the man for who he is. And I was really looking at the actions, present moment, than versus just dwelling on the actions in the past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it seemed like that anger, man, just diminished after that, and opened my heart open. You know what I'm saying? And so, and yeah, that's what it was.
That's a great word. That's what we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? That.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ain't got to be no make believe, no long drawn out. What did you go through? You know what I'm saying?
I remember times, man. I used to tell myself when I hear all these stories about him not being absent, right? Man, I had it in my head. I was like, man, as soon as I see this dude, man, I'm gonna give him the business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm older now. I'm well equipped. I know how to throw these hands. I said, I'm gonna give him the business.
Yeah.
Finally, and the day appeared, right? When I first seen him for the first time, as a teenager. Hey, man, as soon as I seen him, man, and I seen, man, this is me. This is who, you know what I'm saying? He looked just like me. I look just like him. Man, I got sensitive, man. Started crying. We both crying and hugging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just for nothing. All I needed was understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he provided that understanding and answered those questions. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
All right. How
we doing, man?
You doing real good. We really appreciate you coming on here, man. And once again, like I said, you're a brother, man, a kingdom man that I know have great insight, wisdom, and a true, genuine heart, man. You know.
I appreciate it.
And I truly, on the depth of my soul, man, miss the conversation that we have, many of them. You know.
Man, so, I do as well, bro.
Yeah. Now, you want to close her out, Sam?
Yeah, Damien, man, we really appreciate you showing up before us today, and even though it was like pulling teeth, you know what I mean? But it was like noodling. But man, we appreciate you showing up, and man, we pray that somebody listening today, man, that you were able to take away something from his experience that he was willing to share with us. There's a lot of people out there that go through some pretty tough times with their kids and have a hard time reaching out, and it sounds like, man, just being there and being honest and not lying even when it hurts, man, and realizing, man, we all make mistakes, but like just show up and be there, man. Your kids, it seems like, man, they're willing to receive you if you're honest and you take that time. And I appreciate you sharing with us today, Damien. And so until the next time, we appreciate you guys listening in, and please click the box on the Underground Railroad and come see Sam and Abe again. So it was a pleasure.
Peace.